Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel V. Hill, presented by Superbook Sports. Taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel V. Hill.
It's Friday because kids. My goodness, that's the answer. Do we have something funny for later on that involves kids? But DMAC, good morning. How are you? What's new?
What's the latest with the wedding, Rachel? Give us the daily update.
The wedding update of the day. So yesterday I sat in on the drive for a little bit, and then I did Denver sports tonight. And KJ comes in and we're chit-chatting. And, right around the time I got engaged, he actually got married. And so we're talking. Yeah. I love KJ. If you don't know who KJ is, he's the producer of the drive. He does a fantastic job. One of the nicest humans in the world, too. He literally walks in and he's like, Rachel, I haven't seen you in a bit. And I was like, I know. And I was like, I heard you got married. He goes, and you got engaged. Let me see the ring. And so I was like, okay. Like, love KJ to death. And we're talking, and I'm like, it's just so expensive to have a wedding, essentially. And he's like, yeah, that's ultimately how my wife and I just decided to elope. And a lot of people have been telling me that. And so it's actually been a conversation of like, it's very much on the back burner, but like, is it as realistic? Because in my mind, I'm like, if you can't do it exactly how you want it, like you might as well do something else that's fun. And so that's been the most recent conversation. All thanks to KJ.
I'll say this. As long as the two of you are in love and you're dedicated to each other, like no matter what you're doing isn't just a show for other people, I think you can be as extravagant or as simple as you want. I don't think there's a right or wrong. The only wrong answer is to get married to somebody you're not in love with, that you don't want to spend the rest. That's the only wrong answer. Other than that, I mean, I think there's no right way to do it. Yeah. And I just think it's all wonderful, whether it's, a royal wedding or you're just getting married in your living room or something. The most important thing, Rachel, is love and commitment and bringing good vibes into the world. So that's
the marriage, not necessarily the wedding day, for sure.
Yeah, I got just lucky, I guess, and we'll be married 29 years in late September. And we were together for 94, 88, 6 years before we got married. Mm-hmm. So we've been together what will be 35 years, because we got married 6 years to the day that we met. We did that kind of on purpose. So our wedding anniversary is also the anniversary of the day we met. How cool is that? That is pretty cool.
Okay. Favorite thing about Kim, right off the top of your head, go.
She loves me no matter what. And she's that is a challenge. Let me just tell you, right there. See how I'm going to get a little choked up here. And she was willing to take the ride with me, and we're still on that ride. It's definitely not over, and it goes through different stages. And boy, I am getting a little choked up here. And because kids, we're in our 50s, going backwards to where we were together when it was just her and I in our 20s together without the kids. And I have two wonderful sons. And so we're just trying to figure out, maybe we need to live our lives like we were back in our 20s all over again. But Rachel, the journey to get to this point is so amazing and wonderful and exciting. I'm so excited for you and Anthony to get going on this amazing journey. And I would say this, just appreciate seriously every single step of the way. Don't be in a rush to get to one thing or say, well, this isn't worth it if we can't do this. No, perfect. I mean, seriously, enjoy what you have, whatever's directly next, with an eye on the bigger picture for the future. And as long as you're each other's best friends, I mean, that's probably really what it is. My wife is my best friend. She always has been.
Oh, well, I love that so much. Okay, but you have two boys.
Yeah.
How do you feel about 10 kids? Because Philip Rivers is going to be welcoming his 10th child here soon. That is just crazy.
Well, here's the deal. The biggest decision is actually kid number one.
That's true.
That's the biggest decision. Should we have a kid or not. Okay. Yeah. Gargantuan decision is kid number 1. So you decide on kid number 1. Kid number 2 is a no-brainer. There's nothing wrong with only being a parent of a one kid. Yep. Absolutely nothing. That's a wonderful life. I'm just saying the decision to have 2 is just not a big deal. I'm not saying you should have number 2. I'm just talking about the decision.
Yep.
So number 1's a big decision. The next big decision is 3, because 3 is a different car, maybe a different house, because we're talking bedrooms. And 3 is you have most of the stuff, and usually 3 comes along when you want something else. Like you got 2 girls and you want a boy. You got 2 boys, you want a girl.
Did you ever want a girl?
It was we have a very quirky thing in the McAfee family. We have on the McAfee side, the male side of the McAfee side, we have had 10 straight boys over 100 years. Right. My brother had 3 boys. I had 2 boys. My grandmother had 3 boys. So we have just had boys in our family for 100 years. So it's a great question about the girl, but seriously, our family just has not had any girls.
Holy cow.
So yeah, I mean,
they want the McAfee name to live on.
My dad 2 boys, my brother 3 boys, me 2 boys. Isn't that crazy? So and my grandmother 3 boys.
Oh
so
gosh.
I mean, it's wild, right?
That's
now my mom's side of the family, my mom's one of 7, and she has 3 sisters and 2 brothers. And 3 brothers, Chris, Joe, Michael. Sorry. She has 3 brothers and 3 sisters, Caroline, Trisha. Right. So it's 7 total. So 3 brothers, 3 sisters. So she's a little bit different. She's obviously a lot different. But we never really had girls as part of our family on the male side, on the McAfee side. So I know this sounds super weird, but I never thought it was ever going to happen that we would have a girl. I mean, seriously, ever.
Fair enough.
And I have no idea what this is going to mean for my boys and my nephews down the line. But I mean, hopefully we won't find out too soon. I'm fine to wait on that, by the way, for a long time. That's fine by me.
Grandpa McAfee, or will it be Grandpa DMAC? Grandpa McAfee.
I can't. Don't even stop. That what you're saying right now comes with like so much stress. I don't even. It's nothing. It's zero. My mind is not on that. And let's hope seriously, I'm not close to that whatsoever. By the way, I'll tell you this. I want happiness for my 2 boys, but if they decide to not have kids, fine by me. No pressure here.
Listen, it's a serious conversation.
Do you and Anthony want kids right away, or what do you want to do?
Oh my gosh, that question is one that haunts me. I think personally, it's a little scary to bring a child into this world. I think that there is a lot of love and joy, and then you hear just so many things, and it can be really scary. So definitely not for a long time, but
good.
I would eventually, I do think, want kids. It's a little nerve-wracking to think about.
Well, I mean, first of all, if you're in love and you can support your kid no matter what, hey, I'm all for it, no matter how old you are. I will just tell you from my own experience, the time that Kim and I were married, because again, we dated for 6 years until we got married. We, let me do some math on this. We were married for 5 years before we had kids.
Yeah.
So we had 5 years just of, hanging out and trying to figure out life a little bit and, travel a little bit. We were broke though. We were so broke. We had no money and we were living in Buffalo. How about that? So, but it wasn't bad, Rachel. It was all right. It was fun. And we had a lot of friends. And we had a lot of fun together as a couple. I had some weird work things going on, unfortunately, but this is this business. You're always going to have weird work things going on.
Sure.
But the time that we spent married but the difference was we didn't live in the middle of nowhere like where you and Anthony lived. Now I'll tell you this. You could have fit our apartment inside of your living room. But we live downtown in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And you'd say, oh my God, Buffalo's awful. We had a blast. And because we had so many friends and we were downtown. So we went to a million concerts and sporting events and, restaurants and had lemonade and, had a great time, but there's no right way to do it. And you and Anthony, as long as you got love, you'll figure it out. But it's always fun to hear about the wedding. Like, I know you got a big weekend coming up, right?
Yeah, we're headed up to the mountains every single day this weekend.
All right, let me finish off the thought about kids because you brought up Phillip Rivers' kid. So the third is a big deal. The fourth, once you have three, you may as well have four. Like,
okay, so
what's the difference?
My thing is, though, like, Phillip Rivers obviously did very well for himself. He was a quarterback in the league for a very long time, retired in 2021. Do you think all of his kids will have their own rooms?
No, but here's what's brilliant. Let me keep going down the line. 5 is obviously not quite as pressure as 3 because you're already committed to a big family.
Yeah.
But after 5, Rachel, after 5, why stop at all? I mean, because then after 5, you're gonna have live-in babysitters. You're gonna cycle out. They're gonna have their own job. Like, they're gonna just sort of, you're gonna force your kids to sort of just take care of each other. So if you have 5, so 10, 11, 12, I mean, whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. Did you see a picture of Phillip Rivers and all of his kids?
No, I haven't in a while. I remember he was still playing.
His oldest kids are like adults. They're big, they're grown. They're either out of high school and college or in high school. I mean, whatever at that point. That's okay.
Wait, I love the comments that are coming in. Steve Martin, cheaper by the dozen, 2023 version, LOL. DMAC, after 4, you go from a minivan to a school bus, LOL. And then we had somebody who said, I'm the 8th child. We had enough to play the Nuggets and the reserves.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think there's something really, really awesome about a big family. Listen, if I could have my way, seriously, if money was no object, I would have had a ton more kids. Yeah. I love kids. I love being a dad. It's been the greatest thing in my life by a mile. It was just more of for us, my wife, it was more of a financial thing. I always, Rachel, always thought we would adopt a daughter. I always thought we would adopt a daughter. And
possibility is still there, DMAC.
What? Yeah, I mean, gosh, I thought when my kids were like, in their teens, like that would be an amazing thing to do, to adopt like a 6 or 7-year-old, something like that. That was really in my mind. And we just the way the world was at the time, we couldn't do it, unfortunately. Yeah. But I love it. And people that adopt kids, oh my God, geez. And I have a family, friends of ours, the Hummuses, Kendall and Sonia, and they have 3 amazing children of their own. And they adopted a son from Africa, and he is just the light of their life. And they are just such amazing people. So I've seen adoption firsthand, and it's just, it gives me chills. It's just so cool.
The commenters are on it today. The greatest thing, except you couldn't get any of them to cut the lawn.
Yeah, well, right. I mean, trust me, it's not all perfect. It's not all sunshine and roses. I mean, that's being a parent. You can't figure everything out. No, we never got that dialed in. I'll tell you why. The biggest reason we never got that dialed in, Rachel, is because my kids, both of them, played sports all through from when they were little kids. So I swear to God, Rachel, every single weekend, every year, we were traveling somewhere to do something. Yeah. So you got to ask it was not that they couldn't cut the lawn Monday through Friday. I mean, I can already hear people yelling at me. I mean, I get it, but it just was, I don't know. We always wanted to let's go camping. Let's go skiing. Or, okay, we got a hockey tournament. My oldest son played hockey. My youngest son did wrestling. And then when we got into baseball for both of them, it was like, then it was kind of, it started in our baseball training when we really got into it for both of them started in November and basically went year round. It was wild, and we loved it. They loved it. And my son was did a lot of singing stuff. So we ended up doing a lot of stuff with that. It was just, so I'm not going to sit here and by the way, I did do it. I didn't get them to do it. That's a fair criticism. But I was the one pushing the mower out there. I was doing it. A lousy job, too. I sucked at it.
I just love that this is stuck throughout the week, all about mowing lawns. Grout the koi.
Hey, listen, when you have to mow lawns from age 10 back there, and I started in Ipswich, and we lived on a marsh. So we didn't have any sprinklers. We didn't need them. I mean, it grew it was unreal. Yeah. And Rachel, we had a push mower. My dad wouldn't sink the money in for a gas power mower. We had with the blades and he didn't even get a new one, and he didn't sharpen the blades. So the classic, and the lawn wasn't that big. It wasn't. But it's with a push mower that had unsharpened blades. My dad was like, you have to do every row twice. I go, yeah, because our mower sucks, Dad. And it's just he refused to just get a brrr. It was a brrr, like that. So I did that for Rachel. I mowed that damn lawn for 8 years until I went off to college. I got a break in college. I got actually a break for quite a chunk of time. I'm not going to lie, because we were in apartments. But when we first moved here in 99 to Colorado, we had one house for 4 years. And then the place I've been in here for 16 years or whatever we've been in. So lay off. I have from age 10 to 47, I mowed that stupid lawn every damn week during mowing season. I don't want to hear it. I had little breaks in between, but more or less.
Well,
I'm done with it. I've been done with it for 7 years, and it's been the best 7 years of lawn maintenance of my life. And by the way, my lawn looks awesome. My lawn is amazing looking right now.
Despite the trash that high schoolers throw in the backyard.
That's a whole nother deal. They've actually not been bad this summer. It's been a little bit better this summer, but they still tick me off.
Well, I don't believe that this man is going to be mowing his own lawn. He does definitely have time for it now. Malik Jackson announces that he is going to retire from the NFL. He did so this morning on Good Morning Football. And, they asked him, what if some team called you up and was just like, hey, will you come? He was like, yeah, if they're going to pay me really well and I don't have to play at all. If I can just be the hype guy in the huddle, I'll do it. But congrats to Malik Jackson on an incredible career. Obviously, Super Bowl 50 champ. Do you have any memories of Malik Jackson stick out in your head?
Tons. I had a great relationship with Malik. We used to have him on the show quite often back in the day. He was a 5th round pick. He bounced around a little bit from USC to Tennessee. I loved Malik Jackson. I thought he was awesome. And he was on our show back in the day saying that, well, if there was a lot of sort of up in the air stuff in 2015 with Malik. Yeah. And there were quite a few of us that wondered during training camp, well, why don't they just sign Malik Jackson? This would be the right time to do it. And then they didn't. And then they got into the season. We're like, hey man, they really should sign Malik. And then it got so deep into the season that, we're like, oh my God, Malik's going to go to free agency. And this was a miss by the Broncos, Rachel, in my opinion. I think they should have. And Malik said, now this is weird because I don't know if it's true or not, but Malik said had they come to him earlier, he would have signed up with the Broncos. But in that Good Morning Football segment, at least yesterday, he said he wasn't going to do any hometown discounts. Yeah. So I wonder how much truth-telling is really going on.
What do you think about the hometown discount?
I think it's ridiculous. I think players should make their money as much as they can, as quickly as they can. The NFL teams very, very rarely show any kind of loyalty to players. It's a harsh bottom line business, Rachel. That's why the NFL is one of the reasons it's so great, is because they have a lack of loyalty to players. I know that sounds wild and crazy, but it's a cutthroat business. But this, again, is why the NFL is so good, because there's a certain level of parity in the league that keeps games close. Yeah. And you can't, in the NFL, just out like the Yankees who are coming to town this weekend. You can't just outbid teams for the better players. You have to manage a salary cap. Yeah. And you have to figure that out with guarantee money and blah, 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 blah. I just think Malik was a cornerstone player. And when the Broncos lost Malik and Danny Trevathan after the Super Bowl in 2015, they just weren't quite the same defense. They were a good defense. They went 9-7 that year, Rachel. And they just barely missed the playoffs. but they just weren't quite as dominant. And it's a big reason, Rachel, why winning with the defense is so difficult to do. You can do it, but it's practically impossible to keep it together because there's not just one dominant player on defense like you have with a quarterback. If you have a dominant quarterback, you can kind of put other really good pieces around him and they kind of can come in and come out. A great defense, Rachel, is a conjoining of forces that it's like a Jenga board, okay? Yeah. And that just missing one or two pieces can topple the entire board, even though everything else looks, relatively strong. Quarterback and offense is just completely different. And we saw that with the Chiefs when they lost Tyreek Hill, and they put a lot of different parts in there, but they still had Patrick Mahomes and a core player in Travis Kelce, and, we know what happened there. So losing Malik was really, really difficult. And I guess by my own logic, I shouldn't be that mad at the Broncos because maybe just winning with a great defense is always just a kind of a one-year deal. You could probably build legacy in a dynasty with an all-timer for quarterback and have a better shot to win with that great quarterback. And you kind of work on the defense, and you hope you have a very, very good defense. But the Broncos 2015 defense wasn't very, very good, Rachel. They were historic. They were one of the rare greatest, probably one of the top 3-4 defenses seriously of all time. Yeah. And they overcame what was a lackluster performance overall by the offense that particular year. But Malik was a big part of it. Malik scored the first touchdown of the game when he covered up the strip sack fumble by Vaughn. Malik was having an amazing game until Vaughn just was like out of this world. But the runner-up for MVP of Super Bowl 2015 was probably Malik Jackson, then maybe Jordan Norwood, but ultimately Von Miller. Peyton Manning goes way down on that list. Yeah.
It's just so crazy to think back on those memories. Like, I will just never forget being at those games and hearing like the no-fly zone and everybody's doing this. Like, that defense was just incredible.
They were amazing, but look how hard it was to keep together.
Impossible to recreate, man.
That's why, Rachel, again, broken record, it all begins and ends. At the end of the day, the most stable way to build a team is through the quarterback, and you kind of go from there.
Which we'll get to quarterback here in just a second. But you mentioned another team, and that's the Yankees. They are, in fact, in town this weekend. And you asked me yesterday on the drive about going down to Coors Field to watch the Yankees. I said, #I'm not part of the problem. But I can see why people want to. There's a lot of legacy with the Yankees. Will did a great job yesterday. We were chit-chatting about it. And I understand the legacy that comes with the Rockies. And yes, there's two teams, the Red Sox and the Yankees. If you're going to go down there to go watch them, those are the two teams to do it. But I will not be in attendance. Would you go?
I hate the Yankees.
Oh, okay.
I've always hated the Yankees. What I love doing, and they don't play here very often. But
last time was 2016.
Yeah, that's right. And before that too, I mean, I think, boy, I go way back here, but I saw Roger Clemens pitch for the Yankees against the Rockies back in whatever year that was. What I like to do, the handful of times that I've gone to watch the Rockies play the Yankees, is there's only one team. I'm not a big boo guy. I don't boo, but I will go to the Rockies Yankees to boo the Yankees. So I am very tempted to get down for maybe a couple of games this weekend and cheer for Elias Diaz and cheer for the Rockies and boo the Yankees. I hate the Yankees. I always want them to lose. I can't stand them. Nobody's a bigger Rockies fan this week. I am the problem because nobody is supporting the Rockies more this weekend than me.
It would be so Rockies for them to go in and somehow beat the Yankees. That would just be the most Rockies thing ever. But it's a lot cheaper than going to Taylor Swift. $38 to get into Coors Field this weekend. $1,200 to get into Taylor Swift.
Well, hey, have you checked this morning though? The Taylor Swiftie, the tickets are the prices are dropping significantly.
Well, we're gonna look right now.
Look right now because people are getting a little bit nervous because they didn't sell them for what they wanted to. It's the day of the show. I saw prices drop as much as $600 from $1,400 to $800 when I cracked it open this morning.
Well, when I looked, I only saw
Now those tickets may have got snatched up because people were probably
right.
What are you seeing?
$800 for some.
So now maybe this isn't the biggest event maybe ever. I mean, it's still huge, of course. But
should I try and buy a ticket literally at 7:00 when she's gonna go on?
I think that I absolutely think people will be dropping their prices to get some. Listen, a lot of these tickets that people are selling for Taylor Swift, Rachel, they only bought for like $150.
$750 now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think if you were willing to roll the dice, I can't say they're going to be great seats, and it's a little bit of a buyer's market, right? Because a lot of people might have this idea. But I think if you waited till, oh my God, the firefighters are practicing hose firefighting in my backyard. I got to show you this. I swear to God. Hold on. Let's see.
Like legitimately in your backyard?
Yes. Tell me if you can see this. They're actually practicing hosing things off in my backyard right now. See?
Oh, indeed. Can indeed see them.
He just stopped with the hose. Hey! Good job. All right.
Only D-Mac.
But do you see where he was?
Yeah.
Literally. That's the gap that my dumb neighbor. So my dumb neighbor breaks a gap in the fence. My dumb neighbor, here, let me set this back up. My dumb neighbor breaks a gap in the fence, and people have become so accustomed to it that the local fire department, Cunningham Engine 12, is now using that to practice hose spraying. Like, wait a second. What the hell is going on here? That shouldn't even be available to do that. And now we're practice hose spraying off a fire truck from Cunningham Engine 12.
Good for them.
For coffee break, having firefighters wave to us.
And the fact that you just said, hey, good job. Good job to you. D-Mac, Colin Cowherd yesterday called Russell Wilson a top 10 quarterback. I'm curious if you would rate Russell Wilson in the top 10, or is he dropping to the top 15, top 20?
Let's do this exercise very quickly.
Yep.
Joe Burrow or Russell Wilson?
Joe Burrow.
Josh Allen or Wilson?
Josh Allen. Patrick Mahomes.
I'm trying to Rodgers or Wilson?
Aaron Rodgers, I guess.
Of course. Tua or Wilson?
Tua.
Okay, that's 4, so that's at least 5. I'm trying to do it by divisions here, and just Herbert or so all 4 in the AFC East. All 4 in the AFC East. Okay. Let's go to the AFC North. Burrow, obviously, that's 5. Lamar Jackson or Wilson?
Lamar,
that's 6. Pickett or Wilson?
Ooh.
Probably Wilson.
So
he's okay there. Deshaun Watson or Wilson?
Wilson.
Oh, Wilson. Wilson over Deshaun Watson? Okay.
Overrated.
So here we go. How's the rest of my AFC going? Herbert or Wilson?
Here's my thing with Justin Herbert. Is fantastic. Does fantastic play, but gosh, Chargers do Charger all the time. But if we're just going based on player availability or player adaptability, we'll go with Justin Herbert.
Okay. Mahomes, obviously.
Yeah.
That's 8. So that's 8 in the AFC, Rachel. I didn't. Jalen Hurts or Wilson? Hurts. Yes. Trevor Lawrence or Wilson? Lawrence. And I guess I could keep going, but I just gave you 10 guys like that.
Yeah.
So, and you were hesitant about Tua and whatever. So hey, Colin, I got nothing against Colin Cowherd, but Russell Wilson's coming off his worst season of all time.
Yeah.
Now, you got to understand this about Colin Cowherd. And I do respect him. I think he's done a great job as a broadcaster. But he is very good friends with Sean Payton, okay? And unfortunately, what happens is when you're a commentator, a media muggle, when you don't want to be a muggle, when you want to hang out with the superheroes and you start having dinner with the superheroes and go on a party with the superheroes and frankly, being paid like a lot of the superheroes are, Rachel, you just lose, your perspective. Sure. And all Colin Cowherd, and I'm sorry, Colin, but this is the deal. You just lose your credibility because of your friendship with Sean Payton. And you would have to do, Colin Cowherd, in my opinion, would have to do this same exercise that you just did. And he would have to tell me how Russell Wilson right now, not for his career, but right now would crack that top 10.
Well, that was my, debate is he's clearly looking at the longevity of Russell Wilson's career because we know Russell Wilson can be a really good quarterback, but
that's a weird argument to have. Like why? I don't know, man. What are we doing here? Like, are we talking, chicken or steak dinner at an all-time retirement banquet? Is that what we're doing? Or are we talking about what's about to happen this September? I mean, what are we talking about? You tell me, Colin, or anybody, what are we talking about? And then we can have that conversation. Like, Elway was a very complicated guy to somewhat talk about because people were very, John Elway is the greatest. And if you want to talk about John Elway being the greatest, well, there's a lot of evidence in total that John Elway probably is the greatest. Mm-hmm. He was really confusing as a general manager because they won all those AFC West titles 5 in a row because they won one with Tebow, 2 Super Bowl appearances, won a Super Bowl. Well, that's amazing. But the Broncos have a team more or less engineered and designed by Elway that is also the least successful team after winning a Super Bowl of all time. Yeah. And we are mired in the muck of 7 years missing the playoffs in a row and 6 straight years of a losing record, which was like ridiculous. Do you know there was a time, Rachel, with Pat Bowlen that the Broncos had been more Super Bowls than they had losing seasons? Which is obviously now, gone down the drain. But that was the rep on the Broncos at one point.
Great. And now they're really, really struggling. And we're going to learn. Was it Nathaniel Hackett or was it Russell Wilson? John Elway actually just before the show came out and said, hey, Sean Payton is the perfect fit for the Denver Broncos. Mm-hmm. And we're going to find that out because I feel like we're all about this talk right now. Everybody is. Even Colin Cowherd being like, oh, he's a top 10 QB. Well, Colin, again, like you said, I actually really like your perspective too, DMAC. Real quick little side rant about when you start hanging out with the cool kids, your perspective is very much twisted. Like
it happens. I mean, true. I've occasionally hung out with the cool kids over my broadcasting career. I know when I've had a biased opinion. I can be honest about it. Yeah. And on one hand, it's very flattering when you're hanging out with the cool kids, with the Avengers. Sure. But then you got to take a step back and are like, I think, in my opinion, I think it compromises, what you have to say about certain things. But I don't know. Maybe sports fans really don't care. I don't know. Maybe they're fine.
Maybe they want all the roses and,
Yeah, I mean, maybe they think it's cool that you hang out with the cool kids. And, they just want to be fans anyway. So you don't need to be overly critical. Like, who are you trying to impress anyways? I'm just uncomfortable with it in my own skin myself. That's all.
Do you know who does a really good job, though, of hanging out with the cool kids, but yet just gives his honest opinion all the time? Pat McAfee.
Give me an example.
I have heard Pat McAfee just absolutely go off about like certain things. I'm trying to give one like super recent, but I just feel like he'll be the first one to get up there and be like, "Oh, Russell Wilson didn't have a good season last year." We all know that.
Rachel, do you think he would ever be critical of Aaron Rodgers for any reason?
That's a good question. They are buddy.
I kind of doubt it. And I like Pat McAfee. But he's about to get into some really strange waters. Yeah. Really weird waters because ESPN has blown out so many personalities and they've committed a ton of dough to Pat McAfee. And we'll see. I think one of the reasons his show has been so great is the freedom that they've had in terms of tone, language, and what they can do. I think overall, though, his show does exist on positive vibes. I do. Mm-hmm. I think at the end of the day, I think he has a very funny technique. When he wants to be critical of somebody, he kind of overpraises them. Like, I remember with Russell Wilson when he shot a video of him walking out to his car and the car door was open. It was just like such a cringy video to see somebody leave their house and like the
to get ready for the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, but like you can't open up your own car door. I mean, it was just, and I remember McAfee was like, look at him dressed up, man. That is, oh man, and all of his guys were like, yeah, look at that. And, hey, look at this ride, and man, look at it, suited and booted, opening the door for him. So it was actually a real interesting, funny way to be critical of somebody by like bizarrely overpraising them. So it was just dripping in sarcasm. So it's kind of a cool technique because you're not sure whether he's really ripping him or is it, oh no, I was just saying how awesome that was. What are you talking about?
True.
You know, that sort of thing. I think that's kind of McAfee's sort of style, but I'm a fan of Pat McAfee for sure. I think he's gone way overboard. This is just my 2 cents with the Aaron Rodgers stuff because Rodgers essentially became such a regular guest for him. So whatever Pat McAfee has to say about Aaron Rodgers, I'm just not, I'm not going to take it all that seriously. This is the greatest thing about me, Rachel. I have no friends. I say like I don't want to hang out with the cool kids. That gives the impression that the cool kids want to hang out with me. That is not
as you say that, and every single time I'm out with you in public, somebody comes up to you and like sparks up a conversation. You talk for 10 minutes.
Well, because I think the cool kids are the fans, not the rich athletes, not the coaches. I think the cool kids are the hardworking men and women that, save up and go to the games when they, those are the cool kids to me. The cool kids to me are the fans, and really to just dial it in. Not that I have any problem with rich people, good for you, you're rich. But I really, really, really love the coolest of the cool kids are those that don't have all that much money, who when they do spend money, it means more because that's how passionate they are. Yeah. Rachel, I think the older I get, the more man of the people I've become and the more that I respect those kind of fans. So I'm with them. They're the cool kids. So I'll hang out with them anytime. So when you see people come up to me and want to talk and whatever, I'm like, thank you. Whoa, that's awesome. Yep. But if, some Richie Rich came up to me and, whatever, and I was sort of like arm dressing to him or, I don't know. I mean, it's like, okay, I roll my eyes and look at my watch in those situations.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, you are a man of the people for sure.
Well, what choice do I have? So I'm leaning into it strongly.
You should. I'm always honored when people come up to me and they're like, is D-Mac here? And I'm like, well, yes, he is, because you're associated with me in one way or another. So I appreciate it more than you may know. You know who else is a man of the people?
Who's that?
Michael Malone. But the drama that is going around the Nuggets and the Lakers, my goodness, they are living rent-free in the Lakers' head, D-Mac.
Darvin Ham, the coach of the Lakers, is really leaning in to this Malone is the Lakers' daddy sort of thing.
Oh, my gosh.
This is a tricky one. Because it's not like Malone said, I'm the Lakers' daddy. My pal Vic Lombardi, who I love. I do love Vic. Vic said it and it was awesome. Everybody loved it and the whole thing. But I doubt in the future many people are going to, as memorable as it was for us, I think most people are just going to assume Michael Malone painted himself saying he's the Lakers' daddy. That's a tricky one right there. That it's a fun, awesome moment at the time. Ain't no doubt about it. But that one's going to follow you, okay? That one is going to follow you. And as long as you win, no problem. Yeah. But I'm watching this docuseries, Quarterback. And when the mayor of Cincinnati basically did the same thing, he declared there was a paternity test that showed that Joe Burrow was Patrick Mahomes' daddy. That really happened. Yeah. So I'm watching this documentary, and there's Mahomes saying, yep, that helped. That was motivation for us. That was something. So that's something that didn't exist that you brought on yourself. Yeah. And, it mattered. So I did enjoy the moment. I think we all did. I think it was cool. And we'll see. Maybe the Nuggets and Malone are the Lakers' daddy, and there's just nothing that the Lakers can do about it. And I'm here for all of it.
Yeah.
I do think on the same hand, though, why give your opponent anything? Like, why help them at all? And it's been very interesting to watch, Quarterback on Netflix to see that stuff really does sink in. Yeah. They're aware of it. It obviously the better team at the end of the day is going to win, Rachel. That's kind of the bottom line. But if things are even a little bit, I think you got to be careful on, who you give motivation to. But again, in the moment, we all loved it. We all thought it was awesome. Mm-hmm. And if Michael Malone can continue for years to come, be the Lakers' daddy, and we can just dominate the Lakers in the playoff, hey, man, sign me up.
True. I'm curious. What else did Patrick Mahomes say about this?
It was just a point. He was very aware of it. They all were. They are also very aware of the Bengals players calling Arrowhead Burrowhead. Like all of that stuff kind of sunk in. I mean, a lot of motivation, Rachel, is about putting a chip on your shoulder and how heavy that chip either weighs you down or motivates you, pushes you up the hill or sinks you to the bottom.
Yeah.
I suppose that's on every individual to be motivated by whatever they're motivated by or whatever they're crushed by if the pressure is just too much. Mm-hmm. So, but the Chiefs are, listen, man, you don't have to see this documentary, but Patrick Mahomes is one bad mofo. I mean, he is tough. He's an unbelievable leader. He's got ridiculous talent. He trains relentlessly, mentally and physically. He's got an unbelievable supportive family. He seems to be a wonderful dad and husband, an incredible son. And Jackson Mahomes in the second half of this series actually is they don't talk to him, but he is next to Brittany, Patrick Mahomes' wife, a lot. Like there was just no way to edit him. He's not in the first few episodes. You don't really see him, but as things go deeper, you kind of can't avoid him. And he's all over the show.
How many episodes are you in?
I'm halfway through the last one. There's 8 episodes in total. They're all about an hour long. And it debuted, I think, on Sunday. So this is not crazy. This is like an episode a day or so. So it's not nuts what I'm doing.
An episode a day? D-Mac, you just said there's 8 episodes.
Yeah, and it started on Sunday and it's Friday. All right, like an episode and a half a day. Something like that.
Okay, but it is worth watching.
I can't stop watching it. What can I tell you? I'm addicted to these type of shows. This is real. I'm not going to say completely unedited, but I mean, they use real language. They're not editing language, but it's not like a dirty show. I'd be careful if I was a parent. I think to whatever comfort parents are in terms of letting their kids watch stuff that have bad language, just be forewarned. But it's not cleansed like that. You get a more realistic look of like what's really going on. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I think Peyton Manning and Omaha Productions and whoever produced it did an amazing job. Mm-hmm. And it's been an incredible insight. Let me give you a fun little factoid from the show. It's not a big spoiler, but Patrick Mahomes for the Super Bowl that was in Arizona booked a house for his family and friends through Airbnb 3 months before the Super Bowl. Think about that for a second. Obviously, when you do an Airbnb, you can sort of get some of your money back. It's a beautiful house.
But I feel like Patrick Mahomes, regardless if he was playing or not, he would have just gone to the Super Bowl.
That's a great point. You're right about that. He would have been going no matter what. He's got all the money in the world. And so it's probably just a smart thing to do if you know you're going to be there anyway. But it was funny. He's on a stage with Jalen Hurts talking about booking through Airbnb. I just was like, I just laughed at that. But I was like, well, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, how else would you do it? 10 bedroom, 5 bathroom, swimming pool, enter. By the way, can you imagine the ability to go to Airbnb, Rachel, and literally just book whatever you want? Like castle, yes. I'm on the level of like room at John's house. This is sad and pathetic, but I haven't quite done it. But I have definitely looked up just booking a room at somebody's house. Not even a whole house, just a room.
Freaks me out.
It's like $50. It's like, it's so weird.
I even like staying in somebody's guest house freaks me out. I don't know.
You're not a big Airbnb person.
But no, like I'm saying, like when their house is there and you're like on their property while they're in their house, like that freaks me. I don't want to.
I've done that a million times.
Oh, freaks me out. I don't want to see you out your trash and be like, "Hey, good
morning." It's
yeah.
I haven't done it a million times. I've done it maybe 10 times, and it's odd. The worst one. We stayed in this. We were. This is Corpus Christi. We stayed at this person's like garage. I mean, and they had remodeled it a little bit, but I mean, it looked more like a garage with a sink and a toilet than it looked like an apartment. You know, that was, and it was in their backyard. Like you had to go through their gate, and like their house is right. I mean, it's like right there.
Yeah, no, freaks me out. I don't want to see you in your window. I don't want any of that. I don't want to run into you at all. I need privacy there. I'm like, I'm sorry. And especially too, because you're paying so much money. Like so much money now for Airbnbs.
Rachel, for those, you're not paying so much money.
But the cleaning fee is still like $200.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pay something, but trust me, you're there for a very specific, cheap reason.
True. Okay, quick question. This is to everybody in the comments too. Traveling to Colorado, what would you say is the average reasonable price for a hotel room in the mountains? I'm just curious.
What time of year?
Fall.
Fall, weekend or weekday?
Weekend.
Fall, weekend. Summit County, or what county are we in?
Just anywhere in the mountains. I'm just curious your average, like,
all right, but I mean, you're going to spend less, Rachel, to stay at Leadville than you are in Vail. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to get yourself a little place.
Estes Park, go that route.
$179 a night.
Okay.
Why?
I'm just curious.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it can vary wildly based on like a million different things. And it's. Are you thinking about like your guests when they come for your wedding, like where they're going to go?
See, I'm just trying to get like an average, like what do people expect, kind of thing. So
well, all right, let's have this conversation. If you're getting.
It is Ask Us Anything Friday, so let us know any questions you have in the comment as we get into
let me break this
in the
Let me break this down for you, okay? At the end of the day, if you get married, Rachel, anywhere in Breckenridge, Vail area, okay? Yeah. Rachel, first of all, everybody's going to have to rent a car no matter what, if they do that. Okay, so they got to have a car. I wouldn't worry about it because at the end of the day, you can always stay in Frisco with Dylan in those hotels, okay? There's Holiday Inns, and there's even a few hotels in Georgetown, which are a little further down the line. But the Silverton, Frisco, Dillon area all have relatively affordable hotels, which are relatively close. Sure. Now, in the fall, you could also stay at Copper if you're getting married at Vail, which is probably going to be a little cheaper than Vail. Sure. And you can go further down the road at Vail, and you can go to Glenwood Springs, or even Carbondale. Again, there are going to be for you affordable places. Would I do that? Hell no. You tell me where you're going to get married, and I'm just going to get the hotel closest to the event, and that's that. It's your big day. I'm not going to guilt trip you about how much I had to spend for the hotel. Don't worry about me. And staying in Vail Village, sign me the freak up. I need to stay at Golden Eagle or Lion's Head, probably Lion's Head if you're going there. I think it's freaking awesome. It's a fun, like, European sort of vibe there. There's so much to do. There's awesome little restaurants and bars. I have no idea why any ding-dong would stay in Silverthorne going to your wedding, but you're probably going to get a few cheapskates out there, Rachel. So I would say you gotta sort of, watch out for the cheapskates. but they're going to get a car anyways. If they're going to be cheap, you always got Dylan Frisco Silverthorne. And Rachel, don't worry about it. The cheap people are going to be cheap. Frankly, if they want to be that cheap, take a tent with you and put it in a campsite. And if they want to be that cheap, give them camping reservations at some local campsites in the fall, which are very beautiful. And I've done it in the fall. Beautiful. It's chilly, but it's cheap. It's like $15 for a night.
True. Our group chat is currently going off because guess who is arriving currently to Denver?
Gotta give me another hint from that.
It's the biggest night in Denver. Who's arriving?
Taylor Swift is coming here.
Taylor Swift, and they have a video, or they have a live cam, of Centennial Airport where her private plane is going to land. How interesting, though, that she comes in the day of her concert.
That doesn't surprise me at all. So if you were to fly from Nashville to Denver, how long would that take, for example?
2.5, maybe 3 hours?
On a private plane?
Yeah.
Right? Something like that.
Yeah.
She could just go back. Nashville. I don't know if she lives in Nashville, but what if she lived in Los Angeles? There's no reason for her even to stay the night. She could easily just go back to Los Angeles or go to Nashville after the concert. This is the Uber life of superstars. So
you're not hanging out with T Swift?
Me?
Yeah.
Listen, Rachel, I'm not hanging out with anybody. I already told you I got no friends.
Will Taylor Swift be the richest person in Colorado today?
No. I think the Penners are still keeping residents nearby, or Stan Kroenke, or whoever. She does all right, though.
See what Taylor Swift's net worth is.
Well, there's no way she's worth $46 billion.
Yep, it has her coming in at $570 million, and that was in 2022. So that was before her concert.
Yeah, that's just a pinch above Mark Schlereth. So but she's doing all right.
Just a pinch. We talked yesterday about Dan Jacobs on Mark Schlereth. I'm like,
I felt a little bad bobbing on Mark a little bit. Mark has a great life. Who wouldn't want Mark's life? Mark is an amazing guy. I was just giving him a hard time, but it was like, well, would you rather live a suburb life like Mark lives, or would you rather be, single like Richie Carney, down?
Do you think you'll actually get into T Swift tonight?
Absolutely. I guarantee you this is what's going to happen. First of all, the prices are going to drop. So Richie may just buy a ticket at the end of the day. He may. He also may be offered. He may be. What? You got something?
Here's my plan, okay?
Okay.
My friend got a free ticket, and she's in a box. If I can find the cheapest ticket, I have to figure out what day she's going. I'll buy the cheapest ticket and just go in the box with her.
Perfect.
Great.
So you're thinking about going?
If I could get really, really cheap tickets.
Well, what's your magic number?
What did you say?
What's your magic number?
Like $150, maybe.
$150?
Really?
$150 is going to be tough. $150 is going to be tough.
I'm pretty much assuming I'm not going, but if somehow the Taylor Swift magic tends to happen, I'll go.
Well, here's what's going to happen. The way you buy tickets these days, everything's digital. So at the end of the day, there's a captain of the ship. And the captain of the ship is buying all the tickets. Because the way they did it, you'd be stupid not to buy as many tickets because it was so hard to get in the queue in the first place.
Yep.
So if you get in the queue and you can buy 6 tickets, well, bam, you're going to buy 6 tickets.
Yep.
All right, so you're going and somebody else you know is going. But now you have to have 4 other people that are going one way or the other. Sure. They haven't put the time or investment into it as you. You're probably, because your friend's only charging them, what the value of the ticket is. So It's really not that big of a deal for one of those people to sort of say, oh, I can't go. Yeah. I couldn't get a babysitter. I'm sick. The dog ate my homework. Whatever. So inevitably, and these people will not have put their tickets on the resale market because they thought the person was coming. But the tickets are in their phone. They're just sitting there in their Apple Wallet or whatever. I swear to God, Rachel, this is exactly what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen with Broncos training camp. People snatched up all sorts of the free tickets with no intent to go every single time. They're just looking, maybe I can give it to a buddy or do this or not go or whatever. I swear to God, if you're just interested in a ticket and you got a couple of bucks in your pocket and you just walk around the parking lot an hour before the show, I guarantee you, with a little work, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Yeah. I'm going to guarantee you're going to find an affordable ticket. And you may, if you strike up the right conversation, as we're going to challenge Rooftop Richie to do later this afternoon, you may find somebody just to go for free. So I would highly advocate, if you're interested, to use this strategy to see what you can do.
No, I can't wait to. Rooftop Richie comes in real clutch, so we'll see if he does it. I hope he does, honestly. I think he had his friendship bracelets on.
Yeah.
Where's your friend?
All right, Rachel, help me out. Like, if you want to make friends with a Swiftie, what's the best way to do it? What do you look like? How do you approach it? What do you do?
You are decked out in some sort of Eras outfit. You have a million friendship bracelets that you can like share and give out. That's how you become friends with a Swiftie.
We're talking like 30 friendship bracelets that.
Oh my God, like hundreds.
All right.
There are girls with hundreds of them on. Explain
to me friendship bracelets.
I am not the person to answer, to be completely honest. I don't know the whole backstory of it. I'm not the biggest Swiftie, which is why I'm only willing to pay like $150 to go to a concert. But somehow friendship bracelets just became a part of her thing. And like people would toss them out and she would toss things back. Like it just became this big thing. I think it came out of her Lovers album. But again, I'm not 100%. Will Peterson would be much better suited to answer that question.
All right. So I got to have a ton, like everybody's got, and they make them themselves?
Yep. Everybody makes them themselves. Seriously, like I've seen cops with like hundreds of them going down their arms because they were just like giving them. It's wild. Swifties are crazy.
All right. But if you're friendly like Richie, you got a ton of friendship bracelets. Yep. And I don't know. What else? You got to do anything else? You got to bring something up? Do you not bring something up? Do you bring up all of her ex-relationships that she's had a million of? I mean, like are there guys that we really, really hate? Like if I want to make friends with a Swiftie, do I say, so-and-so, grr?
Yes. I'm trying to think of the Jake Gyllenhaal. We hate him.
We hate Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yep, that was a bad relationship. I don't know who her last relationship was with. I know they just broke up a few months ago. But yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal, I feel like, is number one.
All right, so I just come in. I got my 30 friendship bracelets that I'm happy to give out. And I'm like, Gyllenhaal, man, that guy is garbage to me.
Trash. We hate him. And you have to be ready to like scream. And you're like, all the time.
And then they're like, oh, are you going to the show? No, I couldn't get a ticket, but I don't care. I just want to be so I just start lying here. I just want to be amongst everybody. I mean, yeah, it'd be great to go, but I don't really care. I just love everybody here, and I want to be around the atmosphere. So you got to bring up you don't have a ticket relatively quickly, right? Yeah. And you just sort of march around.
I hope Richie gets it. If he does, we'll bring him on Coffee Break on Monday morning. It'll be a blast. D-Mac, always a pleasure hanging out with you, my friend. I appreciate our conversations each and every day. And to everybody in the comments, too, it's always an absolute joy. If you're going to Taylor Swift, let me know in the comments because I'm very jealous of you. And if I can somehow get a ticket for $150, catch me in a box with one of my friends, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Because, kids, we'll see you guys all on Monday morning. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful day. See ya.